You and I with Rashmi Shetty is a simple attempt of bringing in stories of people you and I can draw inspiration from. Ordinary folks, extraordinary lives. Their uniqueness and individuality that make them interesting to talk to and to listen to. A reaffirmation of the fact, open your eyes wider, the world is far more beautiful when we acknowledge the presence of both you and I. Our guest today is a public health specialist with 24 years of extensive experience in various fields under the Ministry of Health. Dr. Sujatha Doraimanickam is currently pursuing her passion, specializing in creative drama intervention, and is attached to the Women and Children Hospital, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. She is experienced working in creative workshops for the past 4 years. Her passion is working with children with special needs such as autism, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD, sensory processing issues, depression, and eating disorders. Trained in theatre and hospital clowning, Dr. Sujatha is using drama intervention for children and adolescents with mental health issues since 2017. Hi Sujatha, welcome to You and I with Rashmi Shetty. A LinkedIn connect where when I shared about my friend who was sick with corona and your offer to do a distance healing changed everything for me on how I looked at you. I knew you as a doctor who had completed her MBBS, but then on started my journey of understanding Sujatha, who started with an MBBS, which is all about healing with medicine, and now is doing so many fascinating things, combining drama therapy, combining understanding intergenerational trauma, doing the relaxation exercises, and so many different things. I'm going to find out what more are you doing, because these three I know you are doing for sure, but what more are you doing to add value to healing is what drew me to invite you to this podcast. So thank you so much for agreeing to come on, Sujatha. A warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction, Rashmi. It's an honor, believe me, to be in the show with you. The first time I saw your video, and I'm one person who, don't really open videos to watch. That intrigued me to watch for some reason or the other. And when the first thing that you started off is I sang the happy birthday song, and I didn't even allow her to speak. That's what I usually do. So that's when it connected me with that video. So I listened to the whole conversation, and where you said that you realized that your friend had difficulty in breathing. And it also connected me if, the friends which I sing birthday songs to, what if that happened to them as well. So that's when I I asked you if it's okay with you for me to, heal your friend. So this is something I've just learned recently during the MCO in 2020. Actually, in 2019 December, a friend of mine, where we were actually doing a course in hypnotherapy and clinical hypnosis, I go down to Penang to do this course during a weekend. So one of my classmates told me, I was just telling her I was not feeling so good and all that. And she said, no, come, I will heal you. And I looked at her very suspiciously. I said, what do you mean you're going to heal me? She said, come. Then she told me to call this person who started this, and it is known as prana violet healing, where actually many states in India are actually doing this now. So he goes on live during an MCO on Facebook, where he teaches everyone for free. So I'm one person, this is something, a healing modality, where when someone teaches and they put a price tag on it, I just will never even bother to go ahead. So my friend kept telling me, look at it, look at the video. I was so tired. And he's got this very loud gun-throat voice that some people might just put off, And believe me, when I start the live session, I will just fall asleep. He doesn't really have a hypnotic voice. Every time, invariably, either I'm so tired or what, but it doesn't explain why every time he goes on live, I fall asleep. So once my friend called me and said, no, you watch it now. It's something to do. That's when suddenly I just really listened to what he had to say. And he says he wants to heal the poorest of the poorest. And everyone now can say, now I can heal myself. That really told me that, this is something different. So it is actually everything about energy, and how he said he's sending back everything to Mother Earth. We have literally abused and everything. So this is another way how you're going to heal. It's just through energy. When I first started, my uncle, my mom's brother, was diagnosed of cancer. And he had, I think, a lesion in his lung, but no one had did a biopsy, so we couldn't confirm it is for sure, but he had difficulty in breathing. So what happened was, I told my uncle, you're the guinea pig for all what I'm doing now, from hypnotherapy to prana violet healing. He said, no, just bring it on. So I removed his pain just by doing hypnotherapy. And towards the end, he has never taken any painkillers like how a cancer patient would. The max he took was a paracetamol, which is like a Panadol. And the other one, he probably just had this pain patch thing in it. That's about it. I changed the thought of pain into something called like a tingling sensation. And the subconscious mind actually bought what I said. So that's how he was. And then the prana healing is to actually make him comfortable till he passed on. So I told my uncle, thank you for, putting up with me. And he was always, when he could sleep, he'll always tell me the next day I slept very well. So in that way, this journey, whatever I've learned, it is actually something would have happened, and it led me on to this new things, whatever I've done. Like you said, I've learned so many things. It's not that in my heart, I want to do this new. First, it's all started off because for my sons. Both my sons are actually autistic, but they are high functioning. But my elder boy, he was also dyslexic when we first took him to the hospital. They couldn't identify the Asperger element part of him. So since I am working in the child and adolescent psychiatry unit, but I am not a psychiatrist, I'm a public health specialist. So I do all the intervention because I have done drama and I have done hospital clowning. This journey goes back again to 2016, where I started my training in Little Theatre India in Chennai, where the founder of the Little Theatre, her name is Aisha Rao. She actually stopped by, she was on her way back to Chennai from Korea. So she spent a few days with me here, and she was just talking. So I said, I want to do something new. Then she said, okay, I think probably I would like to do hospital clowning, because she has her own group of trained actors who are doing hospital clowning in the Children ECMO hospital. So she said, no, but you need to act. I said, oh no, I can dance, but I can't act. So she said, no, I'm so sorry. If you want to do hospital clowning, you need to do a drama workshop. So then I was just thinking, how is my government, because I'm working for the Ministry of Health, how am I going to go to India for that amount of time? So, like you said, the universe, helped me throughout this journey. I attracted all the energy, and I had people who came suddenly into my life to show me the path to go to Chennai. And I was trained there about 5 weeks, and I went on to do 8 shows. That year was Star Wars Panto, Christmas Panto. So I am totally, grateful to Aisha Rao, and definitely to Rohini, Dr. Rohini Rao, her daughter, and her son-in-law, KK. KK is an actor, director, writer, name it. He's got so many things behind his name. And he recently acted in a movie called Surarai Potru with Surya. KK is one person that brings out the best in you. I was so shy. I always wanted to be a teacher at one time. The thought of me standing in front of a group of children, I thought, oh no, I can't do this. So I was so afraid. But KK has this the ability to find how he could bring and encourage you. He doesn't even say it. I just don't know how he does it. Even from the tiny thought that comes for the workshop to the older ones, everybody will be just around him. He's got that kind of aura. So what he did was, I remember my first time, because they started very much earlier, the whole drama group participants, actors. So I came late, and they were always started the scene where they give you a scene and you have to act. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? The fear, wow, I literally had like anxiety attack. So he knew that, I think, without me saying anything to him, he knew that I was very anxious. So he let me come and, watch what's happening. Suddenly one day, I think after a few weeks, he said, Sujatha, why don't you try? I'm like, oh my God. It's just an apartment turned into a studio. I've lived there before, because when I was doing my pre-university, I used to live with Jayraj and Aisha, the other couple. They were my guardian for at least 2.5 months. So I stayed with them. I know the place, but even then, at that point of time, the studio is just like, okay, I just went in the center of the stage, and it's just a gibberish scene. You don't have to really say anything to do 3 different acts at a time. And it's just a short while. And when I finished, I went back to the entrance there, and it so happened KK was directly opposite me, sitting on that side. And he looked at me and he said this. So I said, yes. I had literally palpitation, and he just knows it, and he's so good at it. And I'm forever grateful even to KK, because if not for them, I won't be here where I am today. The thought of my self-esteem and confidence just like really turned me 360 degrees. And then they did come to Malaysia at once. This is a funny story, actually, to tell you how much my self-confidence have gone up. They came to an autistic center to perform for an autistic children. So they were getting ready, and the kids were getting restless. So I had to go, just one of my impromptu thing. I took the mic. I was so confident, okay? I sang, if you're happy and you're sad, clap your hands. So the group came in looking at me so quizzically, like, what are you doing? And I was still confidently singing, and all the kids were also following me. Then Aisha said, do you know, I know I did something wrong. I know I missed some words in the lyrics. So yeah, it's happy and you know it. Oh yeah. So you know how confident I am. Thanks to them, thanks to KK, I can be confident and make mistake and be confident still. So yeah, that's how my drama started with them. And then when I came back to Malaysia, so they said, okay, you went to do hospital cloud. I said, no, I haven't been fully trained, only I did acting. So what they said, okay, you do the drama workshop for the special needs children. So I did for the teachers, and then for the children. And then I tell you, now I'm literally doing for everyone. For the healthcare workers, to even for the Ministry of Health staff, for the autistic children, their parents as well. So it makes the drama workshop is a totally a different thing altogether. It just brings out sometimes the best in you, the emotions that has been, inside you, unable to just, bring it out. So it's just lash out everything in a different way. So for example, like when I tell, okay, now you're going to be angry. So when you say them being angry, they can't do it. So I say, okay, today whose favorite animal is today? So they take on a role of an animal and then they can express themselves better. So these are the few things that I learned actually to help my children, my sons. And then next thing I knew, it's not them that need the healing, it's me. So I needed to heal myself before I could heal them. So that's how actually this journey all started.
Awesome. You needed to heal yourself before you heal anybody else. But your journey as a healer, the MBBS journey, started in India. And if you can take us back a little, Sujatha, to the little Sujatha, the little girl Sujatha, as you can remember, however back you can go, to say, was it your dream always to be a healer, to make a difference to those around you? How were you as a little girl? And why did you choose India to do your medicine? And now you say you're a public health specialist. What is this entire journey about? Take one step back into your past. You told us what you're doing now, but one step back into your past.
Okay, I can remember as young as I was 4 to 5 years old, just like any other child, learning how to ride a bicycle. I've always had a lot of people staying in my house because my parents, brought his siblings' children or my mom's siblings' children. We all lived in one big, under one roof. So I'm always with people. And my cousins actually, were very naughty. So all of us, so they were much older. They were 2 cousin brothers. How my mother will actually give us punishment, and we will cover each other. That's how we grew up. And my mother always taught us, whatever little we had, we used to share things with each other, even however little it is, things like that. So I guess in that sense, I'm very comfortable with people, but at the same time, I'm very, very cautious. I think one of the things that I'm very, very, talking to someone new was always a problem for me because I think my mom, she was always very careful in a sense that she's always telling me, okay, make sure you know what you're speaking. Don't simply, blabber things. So that I think subconsciously, it has always put a stop whenever, or just being wary of what I'm going to say. And that's kind of like, brings everything down, like, it's okay, I don't want to talk. So since I've learned a little bit more about subconscious and the conscious mind, I'm a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I just actually, when I read his books or watch his video, I apply to whatever workshop I'm doing. So I guess subconsciously, my mind was actually trained to think that way. So that is why I know I'm a people person, then why can't I actually, go up and speak and things like that? So now I can say that was maybe one of the reasons. And later, how my journey started, I come from a very, very small town. It's called Bentong, Pahang. It's very close to Genting Highlands. It's the foothill of Genting Highlands. Genting Highlands is like a resort. It was like a casino, and you have your theme parks and everything. So we are at the foothill of it. And it's a 3-street, it only has 3 streets, the town, when I grew up, okay?
And this is in Malaysia? This is in Malaysia?
Yes, it's in Malaysia. Yeah. So my dad was one of the early general practitioners. He started in 65. So and he's still practicing. My father is 89 now. Okay. So I think the whole town actually told me that I was going to be the doctor. Oh, I know you're going to be like your father. So I actually never had any ambition, like, So in my head, it's like, I'm going to be a doctor. And I adored my father because of who he was. Like the whole town look up to him, that kind of thing. And my dad, believe me, he's an atheist. And he only believes, he'll keep saying, don't bribe the God, that kind of thing. And he helps anybody who even can't afford to pay my dad bill. My father was one of the person who's so generous that people who wants to come for donation, something to do with temple, they know they won't go to my dad. So other than that, they all know where to look for. So that was my dad, and that's how my ambition to be a doctor came all about. And later, when I was actually 4 or 5 years old, my mom is a Bharatanatyam dancer, but she was never my teacher. So I learned Bharatanatyam under another person called Susila Nagaraja. So she taught me Bharatanatyam, and the love for dance was literally in me, I just love dancing, any form of dancing. So when I was 14, 15, my dad was saying, I think, how those days, you should concentrate, you shouldn't do too much. But he doesn't realize that I don't practice at home. I only go for class and dance. But, it was those days, it was like that. But then when I started, I went to, then after that, I finished my secondary school and all that. So those days if you wanted to do medicine, India was the place. And I had cousins, everyone who was studying in Manipal. So my dad asked me. So I went to Chennai first to do my pre-university. I actually did even my 10th in Chennai. I was in Adyar Bharat Vidyalaya. And then 1 year I was there. Then I tried to go to Mudabidri, that is in Karnataka, to do my 11th and 12th. Because I did CBSE and it was a state program, there was some confusion there. Then I came back to Chennai. I was in Sherwood Hall. And that's how we met. We have a common friend, Ramesh Apta. And that's how my journey started in Chennai. So when I finished my pre-university, I did my 11th and 12th in Chennai. Then I went on to KMC, Kasturba Medical College, Mangalore. So I did my medical school in Mangalore. And when I finished, I came back. I was posted in East Malaysia. It's a state called Sabah. It's Borneo, under the Borneo Island. So I was there for almost 6 years. I did my housemanship there and just went on to do being a medical officer. And then I applied for my master's, and I applied for master in public health. So when I came back here, I did my subspecialty in occupational health. But I think because of the whole thing in the Ministry of Health, where they needed person to do public health per se, rather than the niche occupational health. So I was really not interested in public health. I took that course up because I wanted to do occupational health, where you do with inspection and a lot of other things, diseases, related to injuries and diseases at workplace. So I got a bit disappointed, and then I went on to do clinical research. Even then, I never got what I wanted to do. So I was like, this is not happening. So I went back to my main hospital, this called Hospital Kuala Lumpur, and I was supposed to do that. Then I was sent everywhere. I was even in the blood bank, trying to organize this occupational health unit, which I did for 2 years. And then they called me back. That is how it is. If you're under a government, they will actually keep transferring you. So I thought, okay, yeah, I've been now 23 years in service. And I said, no, I think I needed something. All these changes only started 5 years ago. From 2016, when I finished the little theater, next thing I know, all my life, what I did didn't make any sense to me actually. But the last 4 years after the little theater, my life changed. I attracted everything that wanted to make me better. The only thing I kept telling is, I always do with positive affirmation. I just said, thank you for giving me the power to heal. Next thing I knew, the very next thing after finishing my drama therapy, which I was trained after under Prof Sue Jennings. She's from UK. She's a very pioneer. She's a pioneer in actually drama therapy. And right after that, I went on to do my certificate in hypnotherapy and clinical hypnosis. After I finished that, I went to do my certificate in family therapy. And that actually turned out to be one of the best thing that I ever did, because this whole thing, this therapy part, everything is interconnected, and it's so good. I was so lucky that I did drama, that I could incorporate everything into it, from drama, hypnotherapy, and family therapy. So now family therapy, I work with the family. So I could do my drama into it, the role play, the empty chair, and things like that. Then I'm like, thank you, Aisha Rao. Thank you, KK. Thank you, Rohini. If not for them, I'm definitely won't be doing what I'm doing now. Yeah. So that's how it all started, Rashmi.
Beautiful. Thank you, Aisha Rao. Thank you, Rohini. Thank you, KK. Yes. But thank you, Sujatha, for being open to learn. Because unless you are opening yourself, I think nothing would have happened. But for me, Sujatha, what is the fascination is, yes, we do all these therapies side by side with whatever healing mechanism as a non-medical person, whether be it coaching, for coaching. I know a lot of people who use psychotherapy, psychodrama, and all of those when it comes to helping people come out of the different spaces. You are a trained medical doctor, and do you feel doing medicine and then doing all these as add-ons has given you a different perspective of health, of people, of diseases, of challenge? Because this is where I see how intergenerational trauma also can fit in. And I'm fascinated with what you have learned from combining all of this with the standard medical procedures that every medical student goes through when he or she does medical schooling.
Yeah, it's probably I have an upper hand because I did medicine. So meaning that like I could actually know the physiology and a little bit of how their mind works, to the intricacy of the whole internal medicine part. So I think in that sense, I'm still grateful that I did medicine. It's not that I shouldn't have that. Why did I waste my time? No, I actually love doing medicine. It's just that I was actually finding my way apart. How I knew something was missing. I felt this is like not good enough. So everyone thought I really regretted doing medicine because I was like feel incomplete. Yeah, that's how I felt. Something was not enough. So when I did all this, then I realized, now I know where I'm going. So like what you said, like in family therapy, that's how I found this. There's something called genogram. I'm not sure if anyone heard. It's just like a family tree. You see, this kind of things I never even know it existed until I joined the whole called the diploma or my certificate. Yeah. So when I was doing my genogram, like when you first start off, you have to do your own genogram. Like I said, you need to heal yourself first. Because if you don't heal yourself, when that person is saying something similar to what you are going through, it's going to be difficult. So that is why, first and foremost, in any modalities or any kind of therapy, is actually for you. So that is how it all started, like I said. So, okay, so now family therapy is how you kind of like, first you do the genogram. If you can go far back as your great-grandparents, even better. So when I was doing for one family, so the person told me, I don't know my great-grandfather, my grandfather. My grandfather was not around and he passed on when they were very young. We don't know what happened. So I say it's got nothing to do with whether what happened, but your dad is still around. What was his feeling? So when you address that kind of feeling, somehow you heal. Like, okay, I'll give you another example. I had a patient who came to our unit, psychiatry unit. So the psychiatrist was actually treating this girl. This girl was always in fear, thinking the parents are going to leave her. And she's always seeing things, shadows and things like that. Like she was going into some psychosis. So gave her medication and all that. So then we thought, okay, why don't we do this genogram? So the next time she came, her parents both came in. So while the psychiatrist was, attending to them, I was drawing up the genogram. So I was asking the father, how's your father? Do you remember when? Are they around? How old were they? That kind of basic things. And then I said, okay, he said he died. So I said, okay, how did he die? So he was not forthcoming. Sounds like he knew something was wrong. So he said, yeah, he committed suicide. So he hung himself. So that itself is a trauma. And that time, that father was only 5 years old, and he was the youngest among all his siblings. So the moment they were all away for a function, and then I think his uncle brought him down and all that. So what happened was, since he being the youngest, and financially I think they were all having difficulty, he was sent to his aunt's house. So he was actually away from his own biological siblings. So, and then when we took the mother's history, the mother's mother had almost 4 marriages where the first 2 husbands actually passed on. And the first husband was her father. So the separation anxiety happened on both sides, the father and the mother. So the daughter was in the room, seeing the whole genogram being done and hearing. And believe me, the father broke down that day. Imagine the 5-year-old boy's emotion was only out on that day. And the wife told us that day she had no idea actually the father-in-law passed away in that manner. So everything was out in the open. I think she came back to see us 2 weeks later. Guess what? She's completely fine. How can we explain that? It healed, the subconscious mind, because it's also something to do with epigenetics. They say, how could you bring down, and it's all with the memory cells, it's passed on. So that is how the subconscious mind works. So we actually do that. So I do sometimes workshops with these kids. And then I said, okay, subconscious mind is like an operating system, So imagine unwanted, polluted data is all there. You can't, I wish that we were like a computer, we can highlight and delete and we're done with it, So now you need to put positive affirmation. Come, let's do this. I'm beautiful. I'm awesome. I'm fabulous. I'll do this mirror technique where you stand up in front of the mirror and I do that whole thing with them. So when they start off, they'll say, I love you. So like, I love you. Like no energy. I say, even I don't think your subconscious mind believes you. So let's do this together. And then we start on, and then the energy just goes up, and you can see right after that session itself, they're so different. Then when I ask them, how are you feeling now? Oh, I'm feeling so good. So I said, you just apply the same thing at work or at home. And another thing, I truly believe in forgiveness and the gratitude affirmation. So I used to tell them, like if you're angry with someone, you don't have to go and tell them that you're sorry. Just in your heart, the person can be just sleeping by the side of you. You don't have to tell, I say, for my husband. So I just tell within myself, I said, I'm sorry if I've done anything wrong to hurt you, in my past or present. That's it, knowingly or unknowingly, just whatever comes out from your mouth or your mind, And the next thing the next day they'll be so happy, like nothing happened. So I guess that's another way I actually do that for whoever I'm working. I start off with that. Once they're feeling nice and good, that's when I go on with my other modalities.
Is this intergenerational trauma part of the family therapy that you're doing and the studies that you did? That is my first question. And the other question is, as somebody who has come with the medical background, when you are applying this with patients that you're working and you're seeing that it works, what would you tell those people who are like, all this is nonsense, there is nothing like this, there is nothing called energy that can heal, and they scoff the whole system aside, saying that forget it, you are just talking in the air. So how would you like to justify it from the medical viewpoint, Sujatha? Because when you offered to do distance healing for my friend who had that breathlessness, I was shocked because I knew you're a medical doctor. And when you said distance healing, I was like, oh my God, okay, that makes Sujatha interesting to be on this podcast. Because for the number of people, a lot of us on this side of the balance who believe all of this and that energy definitely works, there's a whole lot on the other side scoffing it, saying this is just mumbo jumbo nonsense. It doesn't. So what would you want to say? Because now that I see you're on this side, what would you want to say to those on the other side, especially from a scientific viewpoint?
Okay, let's start. How do I say? Okay, I've seen a lot of videos of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has now a lot of evidence-based research that he has done. So the research, he has, during this time, he's done MRIs of this patient where this positive energy thing. So now there is already scientific evidence. There is no like, I felt, you would do this, nothing. Everything is now evidence-based. So people who don't believe it, let me do their genogram. So from then, they were like, oh, oops, that kind of thing. So it all starts with you, your genogram. That's when you just surface. I don't know how to tell you this until and unless, probably everyone who's listening onto this show, it's like a reunion now. Go back, draw your family tree, and find out the connections. Somehow, some new story will actually surface. That's when you'll be intrigued to find out even more. So that's how it all will start. This thing about healing and energy. Yes, a lot of studies has been done. If you actually look at the YouTube about research, it's all there now.
When it comes to you, Sujatha, especially, I love the way you said hospital clowning, because that's like one space where it makes a big difference in the pediatric ward for children who are laughing when they have different pains, be it cancer or anything else. I have seen a lot of my friends who are into hospital clowning who come back with so much of happiness and gratitude for what they're doing. So you do that, you do drama therapy, and now with the genogram, and you spoke about epigenetics. So all of this has a lot of scientific connect. This makes a person understand that there is something beyond what we humans can see, to the intangible, right? You having worked in both the tangible spaces and the intangible spaces with the physiology and beyond, what is it that you'd like to tell us? I'm not asking you as an expert, but in your student life, as somebody who got into the physiological space as a student to beyond the physiology as a student, both in and out of it, if you can give us an eye view, bird's eye view. I'm not asking you to get into detail, but what has been like your aha when it came to this space?
To tell you frankly, doing medicine is just all about, facts and evidence-based and things like that. If you would have told me this, even 4 years ago, I would be like looking at you and like, no, it's not really true. It's just in your mind and things like that. For me to go through it, started healing, and when I saw the difference, and when they come and tell me, thank you, it's gone, we were like, you sure? Because when you are healing someone, you don't know. So I'll give them a score from 1 to 10, and 10 being really painful. And then the score will keep coming down as I heal. And I keep asking them, Are you sure? Are you sure? Because it's not happening to me, right? So it is the confidence and the feedback that I get from the others that actually make me feel better to actually want to do more. So I haven't even stopped. Now I am finished my certificate in family therapy, and I'm doing my diploma. I feel that there's something more now. I have to do more. And the thing is, somehow you get connected into that line when you start this kind of healing. It actually, believe me, I'm not, like you said, whether it's the universe or it is the vibration that I'm sending or the frequency that I'm sending out. Meaning that when I was going through all this, I just feel that there's always something. This is not enough. There's something out there that you want to improvise how you want to do better. So yeah, so that is one of the things that when you do something, it opens up another door to another healing. I thought I'm not one person who loves to read. After MBBS said, no, I am not going to do anything anymore. This is enough. Next thing I went to do masters. Okay, since I need to finish, so I finished. I am not a person who loves to sit for exams. I hate exams. But believe me, now I am searching for things to do. I'm like, am I crazy or what? But then I realized at the end of it, it is so satisfying when I could make a difference in someone's life.
That's really powerful when you say you can make a difference in someone's life. You said that when it was in medical school, it was more evidence-based, and this is beyond that. Especially now that it's not tangible, it's an experience, right?
Yes.
And we all believe, at least Eastern philosophy completely goes with the thought that all of us are connected in this universe. We are all part of one whole. So have you had an experience where you could see this connection and you could actually say that, yes, it is true? What have been some of your aha learnings in this process, beyond just being a medical doctor? When you got into the space in the last 4 years, what have been some of those eye-opening ahas for you, which were like, oh my God, thank God I came into this space because I get to get a better view and just not the one-sided view as a medical doctor, as a healer.
Actually, I think the main thing that has started as the healing part of it, when I worked with children, when I started doing workshops, I saw them getting better. I had a boy who was on a spectrum, refused to go to school. He was also having attention deficit, hyperactive disorder, dyslexia, name it. He had everything. He was an 11-year-old boy. He came and he actually he had school refusal. So we told the father, don't tell him it's a school. We have a school in the hospital for children who are unable to go to school for chronic diseases or with special needs. So this boy came, so he didn't want to come in. He was so, looks like a classroom. I said, no, we're having games, come in. And he was so apprehensive at the beginning. After that, he was the one who's taking over the show. The next day, the father told the teachers, my son is not coming again anymore. So the teachers was surprised because he was enjoying it. So then he said, no, my son has gone back to school. Can you all come and continue doing drama workshop in my house? I'll pay you all. So the teacher said, no, we only do it here. So that was like really for a person who didn't want to do anything. And that was how drama workshop made a change in the kid's life. The next one was, after my drama, I went for hypnotherapy. So I don't do hypnosis as such, but I do relaxation, progressive muscle relaxation. Some people just feel so relaxed when they come out of it. They feel like they're so light and they feel so good, that kind of thing. But people who are actually having depression or feeling a bit low, I saw the difference in them. I had a few sessions for a mother for her firstborn child that she actually couldn't bond with the child. The child had a problem, like a hole in the heart, and she felt so traumatized because she thought it was going to be a normal delivery. Then it turned into so many other things, and she couldn't bond. So when I put her into relaxation, she said she went back to when she was a little girl. She regressed when she was a child. And she said her mother used to scold her because she to ask her to teach her brothers, but her brothers were not the person who liked to study. So she took the blame on herself that she was not able to help them. After that, I discussed this with my boss. He's so good. He said she couldn't bond with the child because she felt that she couldn't do that for her brothers, her younger brothers. The moment she realized that, next thing she was so good with the child, and she went back and she was discharged and she was back to herself, her normal self. So then after that, then went on to do the family therapy thingy. So there was this Spanish couple who came. So the father could speak a little bit of English and the son can speak English very well. So he sat in the middle with two of them. And because the mom was unable to speak, so he kind of interpreted what she was saying. Then, because they were only complaining that the son was not going to school, he's playing games and things like that. So the question that I asked was, what was the last time that something nice that your son did for you? So she thought all the good things that he did. So they were all sharing, both father and son. So the son was feeling so good. Then later, when all this, then I asked the boy again, tell me when your parents did something nice for you. So they went back into this lovely, positive energy kind of thing. Then I took both parents for relaxation and I did for the boy alone. That's when, after that, he shared with the parents that when I spoke to him again, he said that he missed his friends when they were in the UK because the moment they got transferred to Malaysia from London, 1 month later, MCO started. So they were cooped in the house and he only could connect with them because of the time difference. It's 3 a.m. in Malaysia and UK, you know. So that's how he went online because he was missing the friends. So all this, that's when the parents had no idea what he was going through. So right after that, I met them a few days later. The mom and dad told me the very next day, the son made barbecue for them and they were so happy and things, just that one session. So can you imagine if you could actually connect? That's why, you know, sometimes when they come, I'll think, okay, shall I use this or shall I use that? You cannot, I don't stick to one. If I know that this is not working, I keep changing. So there's no specific or definite modality that I use. I go with the flow. So that's why I think I am so lucky that all the things that I have done actually helps me in whatever I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's so true, Sujatha. That's really, really true. You must be magic to people who are meeting you. You must be the magician who has something really different.
Yeah.
And I'm curious that in the last 1.5 years, ever since the pandemic struck and everyone went into lockdown and families started staying together inside under one roof, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Have you noticed a lot of energy shifts that have happened within families that kept coming back to you, or your older patients that came back with a better mind space? Any major shift that you've noticed in relationships in the last 1.5 years?
Yes, definitely. Like I would like to share, we actually are very lucky, husband and I, because both are in the medical field where we can't stay at home, we have to work. So, you know, in that sense, I'm not sure what will happen. Actually, both of us will be at home for a long time together. Okay. But I think in a sense that my kids have online classes, and they're very, like I said, they are being autistic, so they are very good being online. So they are okay. Within my family was not so bad. Like I had my cousins, sometimes giving me a call. So I used to talk to them and then give them this kind of, how do I say, maybe like positive affirmation and energy healing, that kind of thing. So this energy healing, everybody can heal, like I told you. And it's there even in India, in many states, which is called prana violet healing. This person who started off, he wanted to tell everybody, send a message that with this prana violet healing, now everybody can heal. So you do not have to wait or pay someone and ask someone to heal you. It's just that you can heal yourself. So he takes the trouble, and this whole thing, his online workshops and Facebook Live is all for free. He just wants even the poorest of the poorest to heal, to get them to heal themselves. But yeah, there are a lot of teachers all around the world. He has actually trained them. So if you go onto the website, you can actually find the nearest volunteers or teachers to help you. It so happened with you, I saw your message and I thought, let me try if it works. So I was so glad that I still keep in touch with your friend and ask her how is she, and she keeps saying that she's much better and all. So probably that is one of the good things that I could share with everybody. This is one modality, that your pain will go immediately. You'll be like, what crazy thing is this? How can you heal like this? But when you do it and it happens, that's when you know.
Very right, very true. And so we've come to that point, Sujatha, where I would request you to give us 3 life lessons that you would like to leave us with. 3 things that have made you who you are.
Okay. I have to definitely thank my parents for the good genes, I think. Definitely, yeah. And my family for always supporting me, especially my husband. He's like, yes, he has never once stopped me or queried what are you doing, why are you doing. So he has been a big support. And definitely all the modalities that I have learned, it's eye-opening even to me, because when all this started, I was as curious and skeptical like everyone else. But when I applied and when it works, it's definitely a beautiful, divine sensation. That's all I can say. What I feel and what the other person feels. So whether it's a life learning lesson or what, but it's definitely a turning point in my life. Everything or every certificate that I did after that, it has made me a better person. And the how do I say, the feeling of wanting to make someone else feel the same energy that I have, it's amazing.
And if somebody comes to you and asks you, Sujatha, that, okay, 3 things that I should remember for life, what would I'm sure life has taught you a lot of lessons, but if there are 3 lessons that you think life has taught you, what would they be?
First thing I would say, please forgive. Forgiveness is something I never thought by just saying sorry within you makes so much of a difference. What I'm trying to say is you need to forgive yourself. That is the first and foremost thing that you need to do. That forgiving yourself is so huge. Only when you do that, you will know the difference. And the next is forgiving everybody around you. The moment you realize that the anger and the feeling is not there, you yourself will know the difference. Someone will come and tell me, I'm still angry with that person. How could I possibly say sorry? I said, yeah, you are tricking the subconscious mind. You're telling the subconscious mind differently. So that's all. That's one thing that you can do. Yeah.
Awesome, Sujatha. And so forgiveness seems to be such an integral and important part of who you are and what you're doing. And when it comes to healing per se, I think it's more about getting connected with who you are internally, and everyone can heal themselves. So get in, understand who you are, what makes you who you are, and it'll make a big difference to the world around you. Thank you so much, Sujatha. Appreciate you being here, giving your time, sharing a piece of your life to tell us why life is so special, sharing your uniqueness and individuality. My honor having you on this show of You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Thank you so much and stay blessed.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm truly honored to be here today. And yeah, you have a good day and you are awesome. I think it's time that someone else should interview you as well. You are an amazing person. That would be lovely. You take care and stay blessed as well.
Yeah, bye. With that, we come to the end of this episode of You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Do let us know your feedback and your guest suggestions. Write in to rashmi.thethirdeye@gmail.com. That is rashmi.thhirdeye@gmail.com.